Good morning. Good morning. My name is Lisa Dublin. I am a health and life coach, and I help you to be able to speak, to lead, and to live with confidence. If you're joining me for the first time on any of the platforms, welcome. I'm usually on at this time only in my club, the To All the Good Success Club. You could find us on Facebook. But I thought today, because a couple people asked me to just redo a teaching that I did on like marrying your gifts and your why. And it's a topic that I am very passionate about. Now that I'm pursuing something called the Great Pivot, which is moving from, what you do to really doing what you're passionate about and how best you can make an impact while still making an income. So join me this morning. If you want to continue this, we do it in the club, the To All the Girls Success Club on Facebook. So you can go there and send an invitation, a request to be invited, and I will let you in. So how's everybody doing this morning in the club and wherever you're watching me? I wanted to repeat a couple of things, if you don't mind. Just I have a couple more questions from that presentation that I think we kind of need to figure out. And if you're in, I don't care what age you are, it's always a useful question. Am I pursuing what I was meant to do? I've been reading from this author, Michelle Culp. She's been doing a lot of work on finding your passion and passive income, that kind of thing. And one of the questions she definitely asks is, if money wasn't a factor, what would you be doing? But of course it is, and so therefore she goes on to make a distinction between your job and your career and your hobbies, that kind of thing. It's a very useful book, I think. I forgot the name of the book. I'll probably put it up. It is How to Find Your Passion, 23 Questions That Can Change Your Entire Life. So you can go check out that book. It's on Amazon. Quite a good read, a very short book, if I may say so myself. And in a way that works. I'm like, oh my goodness, a book that short is able to give so much value. But today I wanted to just share a bit of a presentation that I've done in the club several times, and it is about finding your why. And if you heard this before, stick around because there are some new questions, and I want to hop on those things before we go. But we usually begin with our confessions because you know what? It is important that you start your day right. I think we all know that. It's important that you tell your day and your life, right, by extension, where to go. And so you can join me with saying, I am blessed and highly favored, above only and not beneath, the head and not the tail. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I shall lend and not borrow. I have nothing missing and nothing broken. And where your focus goes, your energy flows. When you start your day, and don't be embarrassed to say it. We're not embarrassed to say the bad things. We're not embarrassed to call ourselves clumsy. Oh my gosh, I have no sense of direction. Oh my gosh, I am this and I am that. When it comes to declaring the positive things, why do we hold back? Because I think society and everybody kind of tells us, hey Antonia, good morning. You know that you kind of bragging. No, you're not. No, this is a survival tactic. I've started like posting little memes and that kind of thing again. And yesterday the thing that I posted was that I choose to love myself. It is not cute, it is a survival tactic. It really is. That I think we have a responsibility as well to love ourselves. We're the best that we've got, so we might as well love ourselves. It is a survival tactic because if you're not doing that, it means you're living enviously or jealously through somebody else. You wanting somebody else's life, never your own. Might as well love yourself. You are your best thing. I always say that and try to practice it. And what it does is makes you focus on yourself in a way that excludes other people. And I think that's also very important. But let me go ahead and share my screen. And today we're talking about something that has been very dear to my heart in terms of, can I marry the thing that moves me, my why, with my gifts and talents, and what obtains when I do that. So I've presented this to a couple groups and so on, and got a couple requests to do the same. But let's go ahead and look at it. What is your why? And people in the group, please say hi. I can't really see the chat, so I'm going to be doing it from my phone, even while I am on the laptop. That is the benefit of technology. You can do many things at the same time, can't you? Right? Okay, so What is my why? Let me just make this into a slideshow. So, have you figured out your why? I don't care, especially if you're on LinkedIn, watching on LinkedIn, you're probably a professional. You're probably in a job that you've made into a career, maybe. Or you like me, who is that person who can do quite a number of things and, you know, kind of needs to figure out, what do I really want to do? And there are certain ways to be able to figure out what you want to do. Let's see what these are. Ways to figure out your why. Let's go. What frustrates you? That's always a good example. What angers you? And that was actually repeated in a couple places. I think of Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. I think of Master of One by Jordan Rayner. And this new book that I just read by Michelle Culp, 23 ways, 23 questions to figure out, your mission in life. All of those people point to the fact that, it's pretty important that you find that one thing. That is pretty important that you pursue what moves you, what angers you, what frustrates you. Might be, it might be, it might give you a sense of what you can do long term, what you can sustain. Here's another one. What ideas continuously occupy your mind? What is a desire or a passion that won't go away? You might have had it from childhood, and the cares of life came flushing in, and you had to go find a job. Hi, Janice. Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to put up people's comments as we go along. Thank you for being here. I hope I'm not boring you, because this is very important, okay? It actually is, to kind of know that you are where you're supposed to be and making the most impact while making the most income. Those two things are possible. They really are. And I think it's a matter of what we demand of life. What we demand of life is going to help us, okay? So I'm in my club right now, just kind of looking at, hey, Jarlin, good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. All right, let's move on. There are some others. And, if you're watching this, if you've seen this already, stick around, as I said. But here's the thing: we learn through repetition and through going through things over and over again. So you might see something here that you didn't see the first time you saw this. Okay. Do you have a particular compassion for others? What gives you a sense of accomplishment and purpose? And what or who do you have a divine burden for? All of these are very important questions to ask, and I'm going to leave this up so that you can look at it. So, here's something else. What are your gifts? What are your gifts? What has God blessed you with? And there are many ways for us to discover those gifts. We'll see in the next slide. What are my skills? You know what I seem to have an aptitude for that I've learned along the way. And this other one I find is so important. And it says, hi, Marcelina. Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. What is easy for me to do but difficult for others? What is easy for me to do but difficult for others? I have been in jobs where I literally had to mentally prepare myself to go in. Has that happened to anybody? I mean, literally a mismatch that you just simply did the job because you had to, but it took so much from you mentally that you'd rather be anywhere else but there. Does anybody feel that way? Don't answer. Your boss might be watching too. So here are some ways to kind of figure out, what do I want to do? What do you most love doing? When I did this exercise, because a lot of the time in my courses and so on, when I present those things, I have done them myself. And every single time, most of those questions, what was for me an indication of what I was meant to do, is because I had the same answer over and over again: speaking, writing, that kind of thing. Okay. What do I now? Here's a new one. So in this book by Michelle Culp, let me, you know what? I need to give proper information. Let me get the title of that book for you so that you can go perhaps get it on linked on Amazon. It's a How to Find Your Passion, 23 questions that can something. Okay, How to Find Your Passion, and her name is Michelle Culp, Kulp. Here's a question I had not considered before. And so this is new information if you're watching this presentation again. What do I hate doing? And many of the times, the reason that we find ourselves asking these kinds of questions is because, we are on that journey. We might not be satisfied with where we are. And so she was saying, and I apply to all of life, what do you hate doing? That might give you an indication kinds of jobs or entrepreneurial pursuits not to engage in, okay? If I hate doing it, I shouldn't go further into it, should I? And so even look at your job, your present job, and see what in this job do I like or not like. That's what do I hate doing? Sorry. That's an indication of where you shouldn't be. And it kind of shapes basically where you are heading because you know to stay away from those things. See what I mean? Okay, hang on. This is going to let me just. All right. Hey, Jarlin. Hey, Rachel. Hi, Venetia. Hi, everybody. Now I'm seeing the comments. Okay, so you guys talk back to me. Let's have a bit of a conversation here this morning. What do you hate doing? And the thing, too, is if you hate doing something, you're going to take steps to make sure that you don't find yourself in a job or career that will further that thing that you don't like doing. Okay. It also applies, I think, in your personal life, in your home life, etc., that you can identify the things that you literally hate doing, and they can be fuel for you to go find something else or to get a solution to what you hate doing. So, for example, Michelle in the book that I just mentioned, she was given the example that, hey, Sarafina, good morning. The example that she hated doing housework like I do. I think the only thing I hate more than housework is a dirty house. So I will find solutions to being able to deal with that. And she's like, I would rather go make extra money doing what I love so that I can pay for a cleaning service or something of the sort, somebody to come in and to clean her house regularly, than I would stay around and clean the house. That's just something for her, a pet peeve. She doesn't like doing it. Okay. So that's another indication of maybe the problems that you might be having in your present job, or where you don't want to be. That's what I like about that statement. Okay, here's another one. What work do I do that doesn't seem like work? What work do I do that does not seem like work? If you had to answer that question, and I sure hope you have pen and paper, or that you're thinking about it while you're driving and listening to me. I know some people listen on their morning commute, so be safe, but you can think and drive at the same time, okay? Think about yourself and your life. Here's another one. I love, love, love this question. This one is also new. And when I hopped on it, when I came across it, it was a huge eureka moment for me because just solidified, confirmed, just basically what I wanted to do with my life. I could talk all day and write all day. And what do I love to do when I lose all sense of time while doing it? Can somebody tell me in the chat? If you're watching this on the replay, please type replay and you can answer the questions because I'll come back and type the name of the book here, Vanisha. Is that what you're asking? The name of the book is, somebody find the book for me. Let me see if I can find the book. The name of the book, let me put it in the caption so that people can see it. Hang on for me. I will do just that. Okay, let me give the name of the book again. How to Find Your Passion. 23 questions that can change your entire life. That is the name of the book. Let me put it in the captions. Just bear with me so that people can go grab it because I read this book in one night. Not even a night, like just a couple hours, eh? And it was really, really good. Okay, let me just type it in here and edit that. Okay, hold a minute. All right, how to find, oh, hang on. Oh, sorry about that, you guys. Okay, how to find your passion. How to find your passion. And the author is Michelle Culp. So go find her. Like she's been writing a lot of very short books and teaching people how to say it, how to go about living your passion. Here's the name of the book, How to Find Your Passion, 23 questions that will change your entire life. Okay, but let's stop on this question for a minute. How would you answer that question? What is your response to that question of What do I love to do when I lose all sense of time while doing it? I think that is such an amazing question. As a health and life coach, you are taught to ask great questions that can elicit thought from the thinkers, from your clients. And I mean, a great question yields fruit, and this one for me was is so pointed that it kind of leads you to the thing that you're most comfortable doing when you're in your element, when you're in your zone, when you're in your flow. What do I love to do when I lose all sense of time while doing it? And please don't say sleep, okay? That's every one of us. It really is, okay? I know some people are going to say sleep. Yeah, I know that. I know that one too. Hey, Avril, how you doing? Congratulations. I saw that you got, is it your diploma, Avril? That was awesome. Congratulations. So you can comment, let me know if you have an answer to that question. I'd be so interested to hear it because, it gives you a sense of what you're supposed to be doing. Hi, Muris. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Here's another question. What is my unique ability? All right. So unique in many ways in terms of not just easy for one person, easy for you, and difficult for other people, but just it might be something that you don't even think is important. One other piece of insight that I got from reading that book, let me just put it up again. How to Find Your Passion, 23 Questions That Will Change Your Entire Life. One of the things she said is many times because we are so familiar and comfortable and just normal about our skill, about that ability, we don't look at it as anything special, except when other people ask you about it or people remark when you do it or when you execute in it. Then you realize, hey, not everybody might be doing this. Not everybody can do that. And I think, in terms of being honest with ourselves, it is important at those times to kind of register that I seem to have something that the other people don't have. It's something that perhaps I can explore, I can perhaps further develop, I can hone that skill to do something special with. Yes, yes, thanks, Avril. Okay, so let's move on. I'm at my best when I am doing what? I'm at my best when I am doing what? You guys, I'm not going to stay. So, this is my unique ability. And then I'm at my best when I am. When are you at your best? When you're doing what? These questions are meant to be thought provoking and to just push you to finding out not just your skills and abilities, but what makes you tick and why do you think, what is your purpose here in life? I have to say a note on purpose. I had to have a teaching yesterday, but I wasn't quite able to. I was so groggy. Oh my goodness, in the morning. I couldn't make it. So there's a place where you can marry the thing that moves you, your purpose, your big why, with your gifts and your talents. And I believe that it is in that intersection that you find something sustainable, both as a going concern, as a business, as a pursuit to make money, and also as a charitable pursuit. Sometimes it's possible to marry the two things. It really, really is. And I think all too often, it's not that people want to stop helping or don't want to, volunteer. We're volunteering in the wrong places. And I would think that it makes sense to volunteer in an area where what in doing what you love and doing what you're good at. And it's another way to look at your gifts and skills and your talents, etc., to see with those things that have been given by God, what can I do with them to help humanity? Right? Yes, Avril, I think that was a great question. Thank you. So here's another new one. You guys haven't seen this one before because I tweaked the presentation as I was reading this book by Michelle Culp. This is another amazing question right there. What gives me a sense of freedom when I do it? When are you at your most powerful? When do you feel like you are running with the wolves, running with the wind? When do you feel on top of the world? When you're doing what? I swear I had the same response for all of these questions. For me, for this question in particular, what gives me a sense of freedom when I do it is speaking. Is speaking. It is. I did a presentation on a was it on Monday. I had a presentation on Monday in person. So happy to be out again in person and just empowering young Black youth here in Edmonton, and again the sense of freedom that, hey, I love doing this, not just because I can speak, but it is because with that gift of speaking it ties into my whys to help, which is to help people win. That if with my words and presentation I can help you to make a difference and to see things differently and to change your mind in a way that will be to your benefit, let's go. I can do this. This is freedom for me. What is it for you? What gives you a sense of freedom when you do it? And the reason for asking these questions, I believe, is I think we're at a point where we have options. I think we are at a point, especially since COVID, where people have been talking about the great resignation and talking now about the great regret. Did you hear about that? The great regret being that people suddenly during COVID had this euphoric moment of, oh my goodness, I don't want to be doing this job anymore. And without any thought, without any planning, or thinking of anything, they simply sent in resignations because people did have more options. Now there are labor shortages. Although jobs are being filled, people now have to be enticed to go back into the workforce. But here's the thing. I think as of early 2022, they have begun talking about the great regret that people who moved found out that, no, here are the two things that they found out. Number one, the grass wasn't greener on the other side, okay? They left one set of problems and they took on some new ones. Here's the other thing that people had not catered for. They hadn't catered for the loss of community and family and tradition that they had built in their old jobs, even remotely for the last 2 years. And so coming into a brand new job, not having it be what they thought it was. And secondly, also, losing that sense of community, of camaraderie, right? They didn't really like that at all. So Avril says, like me, I started painting during COVID, and that is something I never thought I could do. Oh my goodness, Avril, that's awesome. Hey, Abigail. Hi, Maura. Good morning, everybody. Hi. That's something that is awesome. And so obviously, like that could be a hobby because Michelle was also pointing to, hey, Elizabeth, good morning. The fact that let us distinguish between the job, which pays the bills, the career, which is something you've built over time and which you're very invested in, your calling, which is that thing that you think you're meant to do. Many times, career and calling intersect, but they don't often. And for me, those things came together during COVID as well. And then lastly, your hobbies. So these are things that give you, for me, like I have to kind of find my hobbies once again. I mean, I love running, but I don't know if I would consider that a hobby. I'm not even sure. But anyway, so what gives you a sense of freedom when I do it? I think that is a useful question. It tells you what you should be heading for or what you could possibly be heading for. I mean, I don't want to be prescriptive and to say here that there's only one way to do this, right? It takes time, it takes trial and error, and even there are intersections between or layers between what you might call it, your job and your career and so on. So I'm very creative. I'm a performance poet. I'm a writer. That's where I make the most sense doing those things. But having an administrative job has taught me to add structure to, creators and artists can be kind of woo. I know because I'm there myself. But you don't think of the details, you don't think of how it's going to happen or anything of the sort. But here's the thing, being administrative in such a job has helped me to bring that structure to the thing that I love the best. So I think that this, it's just a useful thing to kind of consider. I'm going to stop here. Let's just go back to that question, the one that I really really loved, this one. Please think about this today, okay? Please think about it. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you? Hi, Diamonds. Yes, and you guys in the club. I know I've kept on talking about this, but here's the thing. Um, it is the depth of study of any topic that will yield the most results. So I think this is like the second month that we've been looking at purpose and looking at finding your calling and all of that. But here's the thing, every single time you go in and you focus on that one topic, there is development, there's progress, there is you seeing new links that you didn't see before. So all of these good things, I think, it's good to spend time with one thing before going on to the next. Cal Newport, in his book Deep Work, he talks about focus, as does Gary Keller in The One Thing, and Jordan Rayner in Master of One. These are books that, for me, have brought together the concept of responsibility to be doing what you were meant to do, freedom to be able to pursue what you love to do and make an impact and make an income. But also knowing, like, because of this whole great resignation, and there's another way to do it. And for me, I think where I aim to be a thought leader is talking about the great pivot. For somebody who's older like I am, you can't just pick up and go. Oh no, I've got a family, I've got stuff to do, I've got going concerns, I've got bills to pay. Like, at that point, you don't just pick up and go if you don't have a plan. And what I realized during COVID is that it actually, even though I hated what it did to our world in terms of so much death and tragedy, breakup of relationships, all sorts of terrible things happened. Other things also happened that we could, cull from. And one of that is, I didn't need to go to the office. I realized that. And I'm like looking around, like, okay, how can this work? Are there other people like me who, because of COVID, had a chance to step back and to, just reflect on life? Reflect on what you want to do. And so that concept of the great pivot is when I realized, hi, Claret, how are you? Claret with all her jokes. Oh my goodness, lady, I enjoy your jokes on Facebook. I have to tell you, you make me laugh so much. Hi, Lauren Fraser, how you doing? So, with all of what was going on, there's a way to pivot. When you pivot, I had my sons show me what the pivot was, because I did take the concept from the book called The Art of the Pivot. You can check it out on Amazon as well. This guy is saying that if you want to change careers and find your calling, you don't just burn down the ships. My goodness, like for me, if I burn down the ships, my family might right be in there, right? I can't burn down the ships and like just toss everything to the wind. But there is a way, even while you're holding down what you already have and still learning and still contributing and doing what you're supposed to, there is another way, particularly in a world that has slowed down somewhat, to be able to move into what you really want to do via trial and error, via focus, via having consistency, routine, and that kind of thing. And that's what I'm literally pioneering, pursuing that kind of thing, because there has to be another way to do it that you don't have the angst of the uncertainty of just doing the great resignation. So I prefer the term the great pivot. I accept, and people perhaps are getting tired of the great this and the great that, but hear this: COVID-19 was an epic moment. I think it deserves great anything that comes after, if it is looked at the in the lens that it is literally life changing. It literally changed our lives. I think it was as big or maybe even a bigger event than 911 as well. Another thing that totally changed how we traveled, how we looked at the world, and made us interrogate our thoughts towards different peoples, etc. It was that shift, it was that big of a shift. And so the great pivot, the great resignation, the great regret, I do understand that we are in a moment of time where things will turn irreparably, I think. right? So anyway, let me stop here today. I hope this helped you. Reach out to me. Tell me what you think. I've gone live everywhere this morning. So welcome to my friends and listeners on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter as well. On LinkedIn, please follow me for more talk about the Great Pivot and my work as a health and life coach, because there's so much there. I'm pivoting into that. And, so far, so good. It's something that I literally enjoy because it fits in with my why. I want to help you win. Like, why should you not win? Why does life have to dictate to you that you can't win? No. There are ways, if you have a system, if you have accountability, and if you have the curated knowledge, which are the things that I provide as a health and life coach, you can make those changes in your life that get you unstuck. That's the whole point. So thank you for joining me this morning. Send me a note. Let me know how this hits you. Listen, many times when people say, send me up, hit me a note, send me a message, you think that your comment is not important, but it actually is. Comments and critiques help people like me in the content creation space to get better and to know what you're about and to be able to deliver what you need when we do stuff like come out live and that kind of thing. So see you again tomorrow, hopefully. I have a guest tomorrow in the To All the Girls Success Club. So we're going to be we're talking with Natalie tomorrow, and Natalie from Dreamy Weddings in St. Kitts. So we're going to be talking to her tomorrow in the To All the Girls Success Club. You can go over there and send a request to be part of the club. I will gladly accept it. All right, folks. Bye. My name is Lisa Dublin. Do have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.